Tribute to the Zansets, Part 7. Jean-Jacques Dessalines was born September 20th, 1758. Immediate connection with Francois Mackendal. He died 1758. Dessalines was born 1758. There are varying accounts about where he was born. One account states that he's of West African descent, or another account mentions that his parents were Congolese, and that he was born in Saint-Domingue. Originally, Dessalines' name was Duclos, right, named after his slave master, but he then took up the name Dessalines from the free black men who purchased him and from whom he eventually escaped. Dessalines lived a rough life, right? He was treated very harshly by his slave masters. When Dessalines joined Toussaint Louverture's army, his fury on the battlefield helped him to quickly gain recognition and climb through the ranks of the army, and he was eventually promoted to the position of general. And when Toussaint Louverture declared himself leader for life, he appointed Jean-Jacques Dessalines as governor of the South, the southern region of Saint-Domingue. It is said that Jean-Jacques Dessalines was illiterate, but he learned very quickly under Toussaint Louverture. Now again, Toussaint Louverture was captured in 1802, and Napoleon declared for slavery to be reinstated in all French colonies. At first, it appeared as though Dessalines was working along with the colonial forces when they reinstated slavery. But he did this, right? It was a ploy, right? A ruse. And he did this so that he could circumnavigate through the colony with ease, and so that he could round up and recollect the resistant forces so that they could mount up another attack. This ploy was successful, and by late 1803, Dessalines' army defeated the French colonial forces. And January 1st, 1804, Haïti was born. Dessalines took up the name Haïti, right, the original name that it was called by the Taino, the indigenous Taino natives. Now, Dessalines gets a bad rep, right? He's known as being very brutal. And part of the reason is because the first thing that he did was he decreed for all white people on the colony to be eradicated, and he killed estimated 5,000 men, women, and children. Dessalines also wrote to Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson ignored his letter. It said that Thomas Jefferson was being pressured by Great Britain, by France, and also by the Confederate South. Right, the Confederate Southern states were pressuring him. Nobody wanted to, help Haiti because they all had slaves, and they didn't want for their slaves to be inspired and to formulate their own resistance. And so they blackballed Haiti. They sought to cripple her. No one would trade with her for years. The United States also passed an embargo on Haiti, and France and Great Britain wouldn't recognize Haiti's independence for almost a century. America recognized Haiti's independence in 1862, but, that's when the fucking Civil War was going on. Later on, Dessalines changed his title, right, from governor to life to emperor. Not only was it that no one would trade with Haiti, the thinkers of the time, right, in Europe and America, would write things like Haiti is now being ran by ferocious men, and also they mentioned that Haiti, right, they didn't even call it Haiti. They said the colony of Saint-Domingue has fallen into chieftain barbarity. You had French ships that were swimming at the shores, harassing and bullying, right, Haiti ships. And, it was a tough position to be in, and so a lot of people, demonized Dessalines, but, they really, one of the main reasons is because they was demonizing him in the tabloids, because of, him massacring, all of those, all of the white people. He also ran an autocratic government. He was eventually ambushed and assassinated by his own men Alexandre Pt7 and Henry Christophe. This happened in October of 1807. After assassinating him, they dismembered his body and I think carried the parts throughout the streets. The two former generals, Henry Christophe and Alexandre Pt7, divided the island between themselves, divided control of it between themselves. So Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Francois Mackendal, and Toussaint Louverture, these are sort of like the three kings, right, of the Haitian Revolution. The three kings who followed the star in the east, which led them to the birth of a nation, and her name was Haiti. That star led them to liberty, freedom, the magical act of transforming the former French wealthiest colony into the first free black nation in the West. In the next part, we're going to pay homage to a couple of the sisters and acknowledge what role they played in bringing about the birth of Haiti. Yo, be easy. Oh shit, I forgot to say this. France also forced Haiti to pay them, right, reparations, right, for no longer having Saint-Domingue as a colony, right, and for the amount of money that they was losing, right, from the sugar plantations and the fucking coffee, the coca, and the indigo plants, etc. And this loan that Haiti had to pay back, this shit, it took like several decades to pay it back. And they bankrupted Haiti. Like I said, they crippled her. They sought to cripple her. They made it so that she had no way of developing, no way of prospering. Yo, be easy.